Hello everybody, my name is Clair Steenwyk. I'm the Christian Constitutional Citizen Activist candidate in the Republican Party. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about national security. And I know most of us, when we talk about this subject, we're thinking about our military overseas, our Air Force, our Navy, or our Coast Guard. Or perhaps for some of you, it's even your National Guard, or our missile silos in the Middle West. It's not really what national security is all about when you consider what we're going through right here at home. Those forces of ours protect us mostly from our overseas enemies and those who want to do harm to us, both in North Korea, Russia, China, and Iran, and a few other crazy people around the world. What I want to talk to you about, the national security that bothers me and most people that live in the state of Arizona and most of the Southwest, is our border security. We don't have any. Anybody that says we have border security doesn't know what they're talking about. If they've ever been down to our southern border in Arizona, they can see some places we have some high fences made out of steel that you can climb over. Other places we have these little X's that you can hop over. Other places we have absolutely nothing at all. And we're inviting not only illegals into our country, you're inviting terrorists, gun runners, human traffickers, drug dealers, gang members, and more. This shouldn't be happening. And for us to allow our elected officials to sit back year after year, actually for a few decades now, with every excuse they can think of as to why we shouldn't put real security at the border, it sickens me. Some people understand that our wall would be a secure area for us to be having, kind of like your house. I don't know of anybody that buys a home that doesn't want walls around it, unless there's someone out there I've never met that bought a home with just the framing and no windows or doors on it. We don't do that in our own homes. And we don't have walls on our homes to just prevent bugs from coming in. We don't want strangers coming in our houses. We have doors on our houses for a reason. You need either knock or ring a doorbell to get in. If you can't get in that way, you've entered illegally and you will be removed. We seem to let politicians frame the whole discussion for us as citizens. This in itself is wrong. Somewhere down the line, citizens have forgotten that those we send to Washington, we vote for, many of which we shouldn't, to represent us, not special interests, not lobbyists, and not their party, but us the people. We have got to get back to where we used to be and start understanding what we need to do rather than what is being done to us. Our southern border needs a wall for several reasons. One very good reason it needs a wall, more than it even does border guards, is you can't move a wall and it's really not easy to tear down. Whereas if we allow them to hire all the agents they're talking about now, some 10,000, over a period of years, that 10,000 agents is going to cost us more than the wall would. When you figure in all the benefits, retirement packages, salaries, etc., we're going to be spending 50, 60, 70 billion dollars over the next 25 years versus maybe 20 billion just to build a wall and then maybe $1 billion a year to maintain it. With a technology that can tell you when they're going underground or trying to come over the top of it, with station guards here and there to make sure their response time would be no more than 10 minutes to get from one point to another. We can do this and we need to. If you believe in having walled communities or live in a gated community or put a wall around your house, then I suggest to you there's nothing wrong with a wall at our border. And after all, come on, let's face realities. We had President Bush who didn't do a wall. We had Clinton who didn't do a wall. We had Bush 1 who didn't do a wall. We had Reagan who promised us a wall, basically I believe knowing Bush would never give him a wall. And then we had Obama who didn't want any kind of a wall, even though when he ran at one time said he did. Who's going to be our next president when President Trump is gone? Do you believe they're going to build a wall? Or do you believe they wouldn't transfer border guards away from the wall or maybe not shut the power off if there wasn't a wall? You can't trust these people. And if we don't put a wall at our southern borders, then I suggest all of you start just living without doors on your house, because that's basically what we're doing. We're allowing people, illegally or not, is not the issue here. A border wall has nothing to do, in a sense, with illegal immigration. It has to do and needs to be framed as security. President Eisenhower once said, when he was president, and by the way, for those of you who don't know this, I actually campaigned for that man when I was 9 years old. He very clearly stated, and if anybody would know about invasions, it would be him, because remember, he led the largest invasion in history in World War II into Europe. He said, if you have people within your borders and you don't know who they are, that's called an invasion. So we don't know who the illegals are within our country. We don't know how many terrorist cells have come across our border within our own country. So you can call it an invasion. And believe it or not, and a lot of people don't, Arizona, as every state in the Union, has a constitutional right to protect its citizens if the federal government doesn't. So if we as a state, if we could find a governor that had the courage to notify the federal government we wanted something done about the illegals within our borders and they didn't do it, the governor has the constitutional authority to call up a National Guard, put them down at the border, and stop the invasion. Unfortunately, neither Governor Brewer, who I talked to about this, nor Governor Ducey, who I've also talked to about this, have what I believe takes called courage, political courage, to do it. They would rather continue to pass the buck back to the federal government and say it's all their fault. It's mostly their fault, but it's our fault too. Part of the fault we have is voting for people who say one thing and do another, and when it's provable with their records. I've often said when I used to do my radio shows, you have rhetoric and you have records. We all went to school. We had what we could tell our parents we got, and then we had our teacher send the report card to show them what we really got. I know I learned at a young age never to lie to my father about my grades, and I wish our politicians would learn not to lie to us. But as long as the voters continue to elect incumbents, or what I call career climbing politicians up a ladder, like people running in the race I happen to be in, you are not going to get the results you want. You're only going to get what they say they're going to give you, knowing full well they won't, and their records have proven it. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this, but remember, don't allow people to frame our wall as an immigration issue. It's a national security issue, and it needs to be framed that way, understood that way, and fought for that way, and we need a person in the White House and in the Senate and in the House and in the governor's office. If you make a promise, keep it, or keep your mouth shut and don't make it to begin with. I want to thank you for the time. God bless the sovereign state of Arizona and the United States of America. Thank you very much for your time and listening.